What's going on, world? It's your boy Greg E-Hill, the coach and change agent. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you for all the birthday love. Today I turned 28 years old. And man, this year has been crazy. So everybody that has sent a text message, LinkedIn message, email, text, tweet, whatever, man, I appreciate it. It means so much because, man, I remember the beginning of the year, I was a teacher. I didn't know where I wanted to go in speaking. I was working on different books, and I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't lost, but I definitely sure wasn't found. And the way things unfolded with the podcast tour, with the graduation speeches, the college, Harvard in a week? For real? That's crazy. And all these other opportunities that's been coming to me, man, and I'm so thankful, and I'm just so grateful. Because y'all know, you know the story, man. A couple years ago, we was in a whole different place. And many years before that, we was in a whole different place. Like, I thought I was gonna be the next P. Diddy. Like, matter of fact, because this is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna make a couple announcements, but I wanted to share 3 lessons I learned this year, at my 27-year-old year. But I want to take y'all back down memory lane, because everybody's been reaching out saying, yo, how'd you get started? Where did it all begin? And I wanted to share some clips and videos for my people that knew me from the beginning to where it all started, man. So first and foremost, it started hustling polos and sodas, man. As you can tell right there, those were polos in my trunk of my 2004 Dodge Neon, man. We used to go hard in it. I remember when I was selling sodas, my brother Jamal Wardlaw, he caught a charge for me. Not a charge, he got rolled up because I used to have 10 people hustling sodas. They got 20% for whatever they sold, and I didn't have a car, right? So I just put all the sodas in rolling book bags and duffel bags and all this stuff, and I put them in Jamal's car when we used to drive. And then one day somebody was late because they was on a bus, so I put the bag of sodas under Jamal's car. And at the time, we were not supposed to be selling sodas, and they found the sodas in Jamal's car. And sure enough, Jamal didn't snitch, man, so he took that charge for me, and it was just some wonderful days, man. And then I used that soda money to then buy the polos, and then honestly, most people don't know, I used to import iPhones to China. Here's a funny story, right? When I imported my first shipment of iPhones to China, this was right when the iPhones just dropped. They were on eBay for $800. I spent all my money, $1,500 to buy 5 iPhones, right? They came in, and Messiah Davis, you can fact check this. He was my roommate at the time at A&T. They came in, and they were fake iPhones. They were things called C-Sects or something like that. Fake iPhones. I was demoralized, man, but I've always had that spirit. Going into my sophomore year, I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, man, which was crazy. Changed my life, man. They put me on General Electric, Johnson & Johnson, gave me the corporate polish, but I started Join Me Entertainment, man. And what we did with Join Me Entertainment, we hosted events. We had Kiara Sade, man, she designed so many flyers, logos. We had over 100 interns. We had absolute artistry, live bands, buffets, and all that stuff. This is in 2010. Creating promo videos. Matter of fact, here's a snippet of the promo video I created. I can't even watch that. Like, what in the world? This is 7 years ago. And luckily, I just had great people like Richard Artis, Timothy Noble, Benjamin Robb documenting the process for me. So everything's remembered. So like, this is not out of nowhere. And then I had the opportunity to me, Marcus Bass, Chris Robb led Join Me in the Polls in 2010, 11, and 12. And we organized people to march to the polls. We had over 1,000 students. We had like all the t-shirt design, Join Me at the polls. It was crazy, man. And all those experiences taught me the art of teamwork, taught me the art of negotiation. I was working with party promoters, working with restaurant owners, working with SGA, all these different tools. And these are the same skill sets that I use today. So don't just think I just woke up one day and I said, I'm gonna be a motivational speaker. No. People know we've been in the lab for many years. And then also it goes back to 2011 where I lost $20,000 in a night. I made some bad decisions, worked with some wrong people, and I was homeless for a year. And I've said this before. My parents, they took me in, and for 6 months before I went back to NT with nothing, I was on their couch for a couple months. Like, seriously. Going through it. Was suicidal at one point. And I was just so depressed, but we were able to get out of it, right? Went back to college, graduated in 2014. I was supposed to graduate in 2011, but I ended up walking in 2014. 2013 I walked, but I got my official degree in 2014. Did corporate America for a couple years. Then 2 years ago, I wrote my first book. I had a book signing. It was surreal, man. We had a book signing, and I thought I was going to be the man in speaking, and a couple months after that, I had to go back to get the other jobs. And then I had the opportunity to be on TV. I had my world premiere on TV. I said, yo, this is going to be huge. I made it. This was like 3 years ago. It was great. Shout out to Miss Deanna Hamilton for allowing me the opportunity at the Great Mentor Show at the WB. Unfortunately, I didn't blow up like that. But people continue to support. Like, shout out to 102 Jams. And Morgan and Chris for allowing me to come on their radio, do live radio, man. Like, this is a couple years ago. Live radio, talking about the book, podcasts and all that good stuff, man. Shout out to my little brother, Justin. And we just, ever since, we kept grinding. And then this summer, we had a chance to go to 6 different states to do the podcast tour. So all this has been in the works the last couple years, and you supported me. You believed in me. And it's crazy. The last decade, we continuously been innovating, failing, trying again, and it's all documented. So this is for the people that want to ask how I started. Hopefully that story kind of helps the narrative. And if you don't want the whole story, like all the stuff, you need to buy my book at gregehill.com/book. That's gonna be my birthday present. Like, buy that book. But now let's get to 3 things that I learned this year, and then I'm gonna get out of here. First thing I learned this year is prioritize value over visibility. I see a lot of people that are entrepreneurs or they want to be speakers and authors. They are trying to be more visible, get more followers online, on different social media platforms, hit a lot of stages, get a lot of likes and all this stuff. And I'm with it. I know you have to have a robust social media platform, but one thing I realized this year, if you just focus on adding value, one person at a time, looking people in their eyes, building stuff that works, building stuff that don't work, and just continue getting better, it will lead to increased visibility. This whole year, I just been producing podcasts, producing videos, I'm having conversations with people, hustling my behind off, trying to get opportunities, gigs, and everything else. Not really focused on too much visibility. Of course, I'm good at marketing, as you can probably see. However, that wasn't my focus. My focus was on adding value, and it made room for me. That's a biblical principle right there, but I see so many people, unfortunately, that are trying to be more visible, but they're not necessarily adding value. And what does that lead to? A lot of likes, not a lot of money, and not a lot of impact. So this year I just realized if I put my focus on adding value, the visibility will come. And even if the visibility doesn't come, you add value, you'll get your reward, and that's okay. I think a lot of people are searching for validation, and I search for validation a lot of times too. Best believe, there are certain times I'm like, how did they make the Forbes list? How did they make this? I was like, what? How did they get into business school? How did they get validation? Why are people doing this? And I'm sitting here, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, I've documented success for 10 years. We went down, we got up, we went down, we got up, we did all this, and where's my pat on the back? But then this year I had a different mentality. I said, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm gonna worry about adding value, supporting who I can support. If somebody cancels something, if somebody doesn't buy a book, if somebody, it's okay. But the people that do, I'm gonna add so much value to them, and I'm gonna create that community. And I'm gonna allow that to grow and blossom. And I just challenge you, whatever you're doing right now, add value consistently, and the world will conspire to make you do what you need to do. The second thing I learned this year is the importance of honoring the little things. When I say honoring the little things, I mean, if I could tell you how many podcast downloads, support I've had for the tour, and all those things that I've got from just sending that extra message, asking that extra question, taking that extra lunch. Every week when I do the weekly recaps, when I go in my journal, when I think about life, I just say, man, what am I missing? What are the gaps? Like, what are the gaps? What questions am I not asking? Like, when I'm talking to somebody, I'm listening. I'm looking in the eyes. I'm sending that message. I'm making the ask. I'm reading the books. I focused on the little things more than I ever have this year. And that's how we've been able to get Harvard, Seattle, Oakland. We're going on another tour across the country. It's not me. I know it's God, but I honor the little things. So for those people that if you're working at McDonald's or working at a job you don't like, use it to your advantage. There's programs, there's grants, there's resources, there's opportunities out there, but a lot of us are not using it. Case in point, with my Minority Trailblazer Conference, it's March 9th to 10th. A couple years ago I wanted to do it, I didn't have the financial resources to do it, but this year I said, yo, we're going to have it done, and we're going to get it done. But the biggest group that helped me out was the Durham Convention Center, Visitor Bureau, my bad. And I reached out to them. They set up meetings with all the hotels in Durham, had one-on-one meetings. They paid for the lunches and everything else, and they worked out the contract so I could get the Durham Convention Center. I didn't have to call myself. That's a free resource. How to get that free resources? I asked questions, I went online, I Googled, and I followed through. I want, if anything you learn from all this thing is the importance of following through. There's opportunities right there. If you're struggling right now, if you're going through some things, there's opportunities right in front of you, but you have to make a decision to follow through because 99% of people are not going to follow through. Here's an example I have to share. My mentor, one of my people, my biggest inspiration, Eric Thomas, he went to a church on another day, and there was a group of young men that were graduating, and after his speech, he said, guys, if y'all send me y'all acceptance letter, I will give y'all personally $500. Guess how many people sent their acceptance letters emailed to him? None. And he did that same thing at A&T, and there was like a couple hundred people in the audiences. Give you $300 if you just say, okay, this next 30 days I made strides in grades, all this other stuff. And less than 10% of the students reached out and did it. And I say all that to say, each and every one of us is watching this thing has an opportunity right now to take things to that next level. And I want you to make a decision this year going forward that you are not going to let these opportunities go to waste. You're going to follow through. And then last, but certainly not least, this year I made a decision to accept disappointment. There's going to be some times in your life, sometimes during your day, sometimes in your career that things are not going to go as planned. If I told you how many people that said, yo, Greg, we're going to book you to speak, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and things just fell apart. Emails didn't get replied to. Calls didn't get made. And I was trying my hardest, and sometimes I got accepted. But then I was like, yo, accept it. Things gonna happen, Greg, move on. There's times with my relationships that I had with people that could have been maybe my wife or my girlfriend or whatnot in the future. I messed up. It wasn't like I was cheating, but I didn't give them the time. I didn't give them what they needed. And I had to accept that and move on. And I think sometimes we just struggle so much about accepting. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to make mistakes. But you have to accept it before you can move on. You can't move on before you accept it because then you're going to be bitter. Then you're going to be hating. Then you're going to be spiteful. When I first didn't get into business school, I didn't accept it. I tried to move on without accepting it, and I was hating on people. I ain't going to lie, I was hating on people. But then once I looked in the mirror and said, gee, accept the fact that you didn't prepare for it, but also, too, it wasn't for you. And once I accepted that, I was able to now, I double tap. I say congrats. I send messages. I'm people's biggest fans. So hopefully those things encourage you in some capacity. And I just encourage you as you get older to share your own words of wisdom to people and what you learned through the year. Look forward every single Sunday. We are debuting another episode of The Greg Hill Show. And I appreciate y'all rocking me the last decade plus, man. Buying books, buying conference tickets, doing everything you can to support me. And I pray. I know I haven't been able to buy as much as I would like from everybody else because, you know, it's entrepreneurship drum. Half of these years I've been broke. But things are changing now, and outside of that, I pray I've been able to add value in some capacity, okay? I love y'all. Thank y'all again. Have a blessed week, and don't ever forget to change the freaking culture.